Last night, while most of the country was fast asleep, something else was happening. A wave of chaos was sweeping from coast to coast. We're about to break down what was, without a doubt, one of the most turbulent nights this nation has seen in a long, long time.
It all started with things like massive gas explosions on the East Coast.
Then you had violent standoffs and shootings popping up in the Midwest.
And even raging fires all the way out on the West Coast. Emergency services everywhere were pushed to their absolute limits.
So in this explainer, we're going to walk you through all these major incidents that unfolded, because together, they really paint a picture of a nation on edge. And the real question is, what in the world was going on?
Now, of all the different events that took place, one of them, it really stands out for its sheer scale and, well, its tragedy. And for that story, we have to start in the Bronx.
The first reports started coming in just after midnight. A massive fire just tearing through a residential high-rise. And just look at this. The intensity of this blaze is unbelievable. Flames are just devouring multiple floors with all this thick smoke pouring into the freezing night sky.
But here's the thing. This wasn't just a fire. We learned pretty quickly that it was actually triggered by a powerful gas explosion way up on the 16th floor of a New York City Housing Authority building. The situation got so bad, so fast, that the firefighters inside, facing extreme danger, had to issue a mayday call. And, that is a call you never, ever want to hear. It means a firefighter's life is in immediate danger.
And tragically, the human cost of this was just devastating. Authorities have now confirmed that 2 people lost their lives in that explosion and the fire that followed. And the tragedy didn't stop there. 4 other people were also injured, just adding to the heartbreaking toll from this one single catastrophic event.
But what makes this night so incredible, really, is that the Bronx, well, it was just one piece of a much larger national puzzle. As we're about to see, cities from coast to coast were grappling with their own major emergencies.
One of the most striking things you'll notice is this common theme. Fire crews weren't just battling flames, they were battling the elements themselves. So on the very same night as that Bronx explosion, firefighters over in Baltimore were dealing with their own 2-alarm blaze. And for both crews, these brutal, freezing temperatures made an incredibly dangerous job even harder. And believe me, this was not just an East Coast problem. Major fires were also reported in Los Angeles, St. Louis, and even Tampa, Florida. It was a true coast-to-coast challenge for first responders. But fires? That was only one part of the story. At the exact same time, another kind of chaos was unfolding, this one centered around crime and police activity. And maybe nowhere was that more apparent than in Chicago. So over in the city's South Side neighborhood, you had a police-involved shooting that left one person in serious condition. Early reports say that shots were fired at officers before they returned fire, and that, of course, led to a huge police presence and a really complex investigation that's still going on right now. And just so tragically, that wasn't the only violence the city saw last night. In a completely separate incident over in Humboldt Park, a 30-year-old man was killed, shot while he was just sitting in his parked car. And just like we saw with the fires, this pattern of violence was popping up all over the country. Down in Texas, 2 officers were shot. In Florida, a fatal police shooting is now under a state investigation. And all the while, you had reports of shots fired in both Seattle and Portland, creating this tense atmosphere all night long. Okay, so on top of the fires and the violence, there was a third major theme playing out last night. A series of really serious and kind of unusual accidents. And that brings us to a particularly bizarre scene in Detroit. Can you even imagine this? A car suddenly just crashing directly through the entrance of an airport terminal. That is exactly what happened at the Detroit Metro Airport. 6 people ended up getting hurt, and the driver was taken into custody right there at the scene. And again, this wasn't some isolated, freaky thing. From an alleged DUI crash in Salt Lake City that injured 3, to a multi-vehicle rollover in Phoenix that put 3 more in the hospital, and a serious crash in Omaha that sent 4 people, including 2 kids, to the hospital, well, the nation's roads were just incredibly dangerous last night. So, as a new day begins, cities all over the country are left to pick up the pieces and grapple with the aftermath. So, what is the actual human toll of such a turbulent night? This right here gives you just a quick snapshot of the human impact from only 3 of the major incidents we've talked about. But it is so important to remember, these are not just numbers. Each bar represents a life lost, a family completely devastated,
or someone facing a really long and difficult recovery.
And you have to realize that for all of these events, the story is far from over. From figuring out the cause of the Bronx explosion to understanding the circumstances of all those shootings and accidents, authorities are just now beginning the long process of piecing together what happened.
And that really leaves us with one final, and I think really important question. When you see all these different kinds of emergencies happening all at once, fires, violence, accidents, in cities that are hundreds of miles apart, you just have to wonder, was this just one really, really bad night? Or does it maybe reveal something deeper about the challenges facing the country today?